So, you want to improve your listening and pronunciation. Why not use
TED Talks?
They have transcripts, a huge number of topics and content that has to go through an approval process, so you know whatever you're going to hear is probably very quality material. The issue, though, is that I've had students study for listening for hours with TED Talks, but struggle to understand native speaker conversations in informal settings. This is because public speaking and presentations do use natural English, but that's not the same natural English you'll hear on the street. Speakers on TED and presentations in general, they pause more. They
Add more stresses.
It's staged.
It's not entirely authentic, which is good if you're working on your own presentation skills, but not so much if you're caught in some small talk with your neighbor or you're out to dinner with friends. A similar situation comes up with the news. Whether you're more into Fox, CNN, VOA, or whatever, the chances are that the people you're listening to are talking in a way that works great for national audiences, but less so when you're at a house party or talking to a date. A better option could be these, including
NPR podcasts.
Now, some of them will run into a similar issue that you'll encounter with the news, with hosts that are speaking a more formal brand of English. But there are some shows that have more casual interviews, especially if you avoid the news and politics section. A note, not all of the podcasts here have transcripts, so make sure to look for this icon. Some NPR podcasts that are more likely to have transcripts include Code Switch and Planet Money. StoryCorps, which has normal people share 2 to 3 minute stories from their lives, is another option, and they also have their own website as well. There's also Freakonomics the Podcast. Go to the site and click on the podcast tab on the left. They cover a wide range of topics and often have less informal interviews than what you would hear in the news. Also, much of the content comes with transcripts. All of these options include authentic content that is designed for native speakers, which means that it may be a little bit difficult for your current level. ESL Lab could be appropriate for you if that's the case. It has the advantage of splitting content into different difficulty levels. I'll be honest, some of the easy content is actually still pretty challenging, so the best students for this will at least be at an intermediate level of English. However, the expressions that they use are pretty natural and they do capture how people talk informally. Of course, also in terms of amount of content, it's hard to beat YouTube. Additionally, its computer-generated transcripts are getting better and better every year. They're not exactly perfect yet, and content creators don't always make their own transcripts. They are usually good enough to give you a foundation for what you hear, though, even if they are computer-generated. By the way, YouTube is also home to our very own 24/7 shadowing live stream. One of the advantages of our shadowing videos is that there's pauses in the dialogue, so you can listen to a sentence and then repeat without having to pause what you hear, and you won't miss the next sentence. For my music lovers out there, you can also go to Lyricstraining.com. They have a decent variety of popular songs available, which you can practice listening to. They also have games where you can identify the words to a song that you hear, which is great for spelling practice or typing practice. This really is a site that's more for practicing listening than shadowing, though. The last site for audio that I recommend my students try is Quick and Dirty Tips. I like it because, once again, it has a huge range of topics with everything from parenting and health to pets and finance. Unfortunately, not all the content has an audio component. Some of it is just articles, so make sure to look for this logo if you want to listen and also have a transcript available. Regardless of whatever you use to listen to, there are things that you want to consider. The first thing is you want to listen to things that actually interest you. This will make it more entertaining for you, and it will make your studying feel less like work. Again, you want this to be a fun process. You also want to choose a speaker that sounds like how you want to sound. Then you want to find as much content as you can by that person and listen to them as much as possible. Imagine you're an actor trying to play that role, that person. When you're listening to things, don't listen to everything at once. You can choose a short, manageable section. Even 2 minutes can be plenty of material because, our fourth thing, you want to listen to the same material multiple times. Once you have your source, you can then use the audio to start improving your language, especially if you pay attention to stress, intonation, and linking, like how we show you in this video.